The World Cup. Every 4 years it captivates billions. It's a stage for legends, a canvas for dreams, and a crucible for corruption. But behind the glory, behind the goals, there's a shadowy history most fans never hear about. Because sometimes, the beautiful game isn't just a game. Sometimes, it's a battlefield for the world's most powerful intelligence agencies. Today we're talking about the time the World Cup turned into a CIA operation. And no, I'm not talking about a movie. I'm talking about real life. Before we dive into the spy games, the poisonings, and the secret operations that changed football forever, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. This is the kind of story you won't hear anywhere else, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Trust me. Now, let's get into it. Let's go back to 1994. The United States was getting ready to host its first World Cup. It was a massive deal. But there was a huge problem. Nobody in the US seemed to actually care about soccer. This was the 90s. The NFL, the NBA, baseball, they were kings. By putting a World Cup in America, FIFA was taking a huge gamble, and plenty of people thought they were crazy. But is it possible the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, made sure that 1994 tournament went a certain way, or, more shockingly, that they've been playing their own game behind the scenes for decades? This is where things get seriously weird. You probably remember Diego Maradona, the Argentine legend. He's one of the greatest ever to lace up a pair of boots. But at the 1994 World Cup in the US, he was thrown out of the tournament after failing a drug test for ephedrine. It ended his international career in disgrace. But Maradona himself claimed it was a setup. He said it was a CIA conspiracy. His reasoning? The US wanted to eliminate Argentina, a country with deep ties to Cuba, from the tournament. He claimed the CIA, along with FIFA, deliberately targeted him to stop him from winning it all. Now, many people just wrote this off as the paranoid ravings of a troubled genius. It was easy to dismiss, but then, whispers about other incidents started to feel less crazy. Let's go back a bit further, to the 1970 World Cup in Mexico. England were the defending champions. They were stacked with talent, including arguably the best goalkeeper on the planet, Gordon Banks. In the group stage, Banks made the save of the century against Pelé. He was invincible, but then, hours before their vital quarter-final against West Germany, Banks was struck down with a debilitating case of food poisoning. His mystery illness was so severe he couldn't play. England lost that game in a major upset. For more than 50 years, the story was food poisoning. But a recent investigation uncovered something that makes your skin crawl. The Project, a podcast called Foul Play, was conducted by investigative journalist Gabriel Gatehouse and Banks's own grandson. They concluded that it's highly plausible Banks was poisoned by the CIA. Why? The theory suggests the US wanted to ensure that Brazil, led by the military dictatorship, won the tournament. It's been documented that the Brazilian team received advanced training from NASA in the lead-up to the tournament. The idea was that the US would help the Brazilian dictatorship, their ally, gain a huge popularity boost by winning the World Cup, while also knocking out England, a country that wasn't playing ball on the geopolitical stage. Again, it sounds insane, but even Banks himself told his family that something dodgy went on that day. His grandson ended the investigation saying, he was that good, they had to go after him. Now, this all brings us to the most controversial World Cup bid in modern history, Qatar 2022. How did a small desert nation with no footballing pedigree beat out the United States, Australia, and others to host the biggest event on Earth? The shocking answer, revealed in documents leaked to the Sunday Times, is that they ran a secret Black Ops campaign. And guess what it involved? They hired former CIA agents to run the entire operation. The Qatari bid team paid a US PR firm and ex-CIA officers to sabotage their rivals' chances. Their mission was to create fake grassroots opposition in the rival countries to make it look like those nations didn't even want the tournament. They spread fake propaganda to create the impression there was zero support for a US World Cup. They used ex-spooks to dig up intelligence on the bidding officials and the competition. They spied on the U.S. bid team, using a fake photojournalist to secretly report back on their every move while the FIFA officials toured the country. They even used a fake Facebook account of an attractive woman to communicate with and surveil their targets. One of the key players was a man named Kevin Chalker, a former CIA officer. His firm was hired to conduct surveillance and hacking, but it didn't stop there. The operation even included training Qatar's security forces in advanced CIA-level hacking and spying techniques. The goal was simple: get the vote at any cost. And it worked. Qatar won. But here's the kicker. It's not just Qatar. Even England's own bid for the 2018 World Cup has been accused of using private intelligence and covert tactics. It's a dirty business. So, what do we do with all this? The beautiful game has a history as dirty as the political games played by the superpowers. Is it just coincidence? Or is it evidence that the World Cup, the greatest show on Earth, is just another theater for the world's intelligence agencies? From poisoning goalkeepers to manipulating votes, the CIA and its ilk seem to have been playing the game for a lot longer than we ever imagined. What do you think? Is the World Cup rigged? Is this all a massive conspiracy theory? Or is there something dark and real behind the stories? Let me know in the comments. And if you made it this far, you're exactly the kind of fan who needs to be subscribed. So hit that button, turn on the notification bell, and join the crew. We dig into the stories the mainstream won't touch. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.